guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I wanted to do something a little more fun with the tarot. This is called T.M.I. with the tarot, so too much information. If you ever remember having sleepovers, if you had sleepovers, I was allowed to have one sleepover. It was awesome. So if you remember having sleepovers, you remember playing like Truth or Dare. Those of you that are old enough, do you remember Girl Talk, you know, things like that. So crank calling, all of that mess while I'm in bed, sort of sleepy over-ish. You guys are joining me in my sleepover. That I would use my tarot to play a sleepover game. So you can have conversations with your tarot deck. And so what I'm going to do is something called T.M.I. and I'm actually using my tarot of the pirates. What I do is I take my deck, give it a nice shuffle, and when you're finished shuffling, you grab a card, and then based on what the card looks like, you try to formulate a question, and then you have to answer your own question. So the question that, in essence, the tarot is asking you. So if I were to, let's say, for example, give this a shuffle here, blah, 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 doo, 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 da, 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 shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Let's say I land on the card of Five of Swords. Thinking about what the meaning of the Five of Swords is, some kind of defeat or loss, could be mental, something like that, but maybe formulate a fun question. So what's one time that you like completely just lost your mind and like did something wild or crazy with your friends? Or maybe you acted alone. Okay, so something like that, something fun. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to shuffle I'm going to shuffle and then I'm going to create 5 questions just to kind of keep this video short, but you guys will get the idea. So you'll get 5 questions and 5 answers from me. Hopefully they're not too embarrassing. I mean, you guys could be like as embarrassing as you want to, but I mean, I'm kind of an embarrassing person. So there's really nothing I can't say that's not embarrassing. Anywho, so you guys give this a good shuffle, you know, and I would say come up with 5 questions. Well, whatever 5 questions your tarot deck is telling you to answer. Okay, question number 1. And you notice my sleepover buddy? It's Hello Kitty, of course. And I got the floppy horses. I got Jules back there. I got my turtle. I got my stuffed animal crew. Okay, question number 1. My tarot of the pirates wants me to answer. First question. It's like having your, like, if your tarot deck was a friend and they're making you answer all these weird questions. Ooh. Temperance. Okay, so let's see. Let's formulate a question. My question is, or the question it wants me to answer is talk about a time when you feel like your life was a little out of whack. Okay. Let's see, when's it not out of whack? Anyway, I would say let's go back to my last boyfriend. Yeah, so I would say my life was really out of whack at that time. I was living in Orange County. I was working at a bamboo store where I met my Canadian mom. You know, she's really good friend of mine. She's basically like a mom to me, but she was the owner of that store. I think I was pulling in maybe like $19,000-$20,000 a year. I mean, it wasn't very much cash. And my boyfriend at the time, he was a loan officer, you know, and all the money that he brought in was spent on drugs and partying. I myself did not do any drugs. It was like, it was this weird pairing where I was like this like goofy weird person and I was with like a gangsta. So he also wanted me to like pay for everything. So like I paid for our like duplex that we were living in. I was like paying for all this stuff and like I was so unhappy. And I kept thinking, I'm like, it's my fault, like, you know, and why can't I make more money? And then one day I had this epiphany in the shower, because like, don't we all? And I'm like, wait a minute, like, record stop, like, I pay for everything. I could leave this relationship anytime I wanted to, and like, I can like make it on my own. Like, I don't need this boo. So I would say that was kind of a time my life was out of whack, but then it got better and more balanced, and now I live in this mansion day me. Actually, well, not really a mansion, but it's like a mansion. It's a mansion in my heart. Question number 2. Okay, so we have the Ace of Chalices, which is like the Ace of Cups. I know. So let's talk about, okay, so the question will be, talk about a time you had a brand new relationship with an animal, a pet. Okay. We will talk about my dog, Precious. I don't have my dog anymore. Precious has passed away. She was like, I think like 16, roughly 16 years old when she passed away. But okay, so when me and this dog met, I was in high school. I was running track at the time. And in my neighborhood, there was like packs of dogs that roamed around. And so there's like these packs of dogs just kind of running through the track, and we didn't pay any mind. You know, we're just doing track practice. My mom picked me up after practice, and I had the car door open because I'm putting in my track bag and everything. And this like mangy dog like jumps into our car, like jumps in the back seat up into like the window, and is like ready to roll. We're like, whose dog is this? And so we kick the dog out, whatever, you know, and I try packing my stuff in. It jumps back in the car. We're like, dude, whose dog is this? This is so weird. So, you know, it finally went on its way. And then the next day, have track practice, doing the same thing. I'm putting my bag in the car. This like pack of dogs runs by. It's the same dog, and it's trying to come home with us. So we're like, okay, this is somebody's dog. So my mom said, let's go home, let's wash it up. You know, it's probably just a really pretty brown dog, and we'll take it down to the animal shelter, and you know, we'll see if anybody claims it. So we go to wash it up. Turns out she has a bright white coat and not a brown coat. Like, she was that dirty and that mangy, and you could tell that she had been fixed. She still had her stitches in, and so take her down to the animal shelter, and we at least, you know, put down the description of the dog, and we said we would keep it at our house until like somebody claimed the dog, and nobody ends up claiming this dog. And it's a full-blood like Maltese. It's a really pretty dog, and so that's kind of how I got my very first pet. My first dog was she basically made herself come home with us. So there we go. All right. Question number 3. I hope this is not a long video. Okay. Nice one. Okay, now we have the 8 of Swords. My gosh, this is really TMI. Okay, think of a time when you were really, or I was really in a dark place in my life where I felt like I couldn't see out, but really I was kind of in my own way. Okay. Think about a dark time, dark time, dark time. Okay. My gosh, why did I even create this game? Okay. Dark time in my life. Okay, let's go back to when I was in high school. I was having a really rough time at home, and ever since like middle school, I had been counting down the years, the months, and the days until I could go off to college and basically leave my house. I wanted to leave my city. I wanted to see what was beyond my city, and I really wanted to get out of the grip of my parents. So I would say things got pretty rough when I was in high school. My mother became in competition with me. She would say things like, you're ugly, and I was so much prettier than you at your age, and, you know, just things like that. She was basically very mentally damaging to me when I was in high school. And then also my parents' marriage was kind of like, going down the tubes. My mom was like trying to hit on door-to-door salesmen. She was like trying to molest them or something, trying to get them in the house. My mom was like hitting on my track coach, which was like so embarrassing, and like he was embarrassed too. He was like, I think you should go home to your husband. So I would say that was like a really difficult, dark time for me, is to see like my family situation in such chaos that all I wanted to do was just go off and be on my own, and I just wanted to make it on my own. Like I didn't want any help from anybody, and that's what I'm doing now. I think that's why I have so many side jobs and everything, is so I'm so determined to make it on my own. I have made it, but I want to really solidify that I don't need anybody's help. So, wow, my gosh, I didn't really mean for this to get all serial. Okay, was that question 3? Okay, question number 4. Question number 4. Oh. You got the 8 of Wands. Ooh. Okay, question is, talk about your best race ever. Okay, I could talk about that. Okay, so I was getting ready to do the 100 meters at Poway High School, because at that time when I was in high school, the only all-weather track was at Poway High School. Okay, so one of the fastest girls in the county was a couple years younger than me. I was like a junior at the time, and I think she was a freshman, or either I was a senior and she was a sophomore. Either way, we were a couple of years apart. I mean, yes, she was a fantastic 400-meter runner. She ended up going to the Olympic trials individually, not making it, but she ended up going to the Olympics on the relay team. So yes, she did eventually compete in the Olympics. She's, I will say, a fantastic runner. When she was in high school, she may have had a poor attitude. Actually, in college, when I ran against her there, she also had a poor attitude, but probably changed when she got older. So I'm getting ready to line up for the 100 meters. And I mean, she wasn't really my rival in the 100 meters, but I mean, she was a pretty good 100-meter runner. So she's in the lane next to me, and I'm just like focused on my lane. Like I'm ready to go rock and roll. I'm just trying to PR. PR means personal record, like you're trying to do your best. So I'm getting ready, and she like nudges me in the arm, because usually, people are like, hey, good luck, good luck. We all like shake each other's hand. And she's like, are you... And she said my last name. And I was like, yeah. And she says, well, just gonna let you know that when I cross the finish line, I'm gonna turn around and clap you in. I was like, okay. So I run the race. She ends up getting first. I believe I came in like third. But I PR'd because I had that like motivation now. I'm like, what? I ended up PRing, and at that time, like I ran a 12 flat, which was really good for my age in high school. Ended up going sub 12 when I was in college, but that's a different story. So I ended up getting 12 flat, which is what I had wanted, and that was like my goal, and I was like, yes! So I'm like super excited, and I went to like go shake her hand afterwards, and she's like, psh, and she like walked away. I was like, yeah. And then afterwards, my mom went and came over to congratulate me. And she's like, baby, guess who I was sitting next to? I was sitting next to FloJo. I was like, what? Did you get her autograph? She was like, no. But I told her, I said, that's my daughter down there. That's my baby. And she was like, oh, I read about her in the Union Tribune. I read about her in the paper. Like, FloJo knew who I was. And I was like, so, okay, that was like probably one of my favorite races ever. It was like awesome. Okay, final question. Final question is the 8 of Pentacles. Talk about a time where you had to really bust your ass and perfect your art. Okay, I would say that's when I was accepted into an opera to go sing with a group of ladies in Italy. And so all the singers came from different parts. Some people were out of like the United States, some people were from Italy, some people were from different countries and things like that. And I'm a person that never went to like music school. Like I originally went to school to be an English teacher, and so I have an English teaching degree, you know, and I have a credential and all that stuff, but I don't have a music degree. And a lot of people are like from Juilliard and they, you know, all have music degrees and they've been doing music forever. And me, all I do is I know how to sing. Like you know, and so when I got there, I was very intimidated because there was these girls that were a lot younger than me. You know, I'm a lot older, you know, in the singing game, but it's okay because I look their age. So, you know, they're talking about, you know, different composers and different artists, and I'm like, who? I mean, I know some, you know, I try to study up as best I could. Many of them can play piano. I kind of had like beginning piano skills, you know, and they could sight read music, which was something that I couldn't do at the time. And so I was really struggling. I had, you know, a part in the opera where I had some solos, and I was really struggling to keep up with the orchestra and the conductor, and he's like yelling at me in Italian, you know, because I'm not getting right. And I'm like having this breakdown or whatever. And finally, I went to one of my friends who was one of the like master teachers there that was kind of helping us out. And she was like, what is it that you don't understand? Like, you can keep rhythm and time by watching the conductor's hands. And I said, I don't know rhythm and time. And she's like, you can't understand hand signals? And I said, no. And she went, oh, well, I can teach you that. And I was like, for real? And so she teaches me that. And from what I remember from beginning piano, it like just came together and clicked. And all of a sudden, like I became just like freaking badass when I was singing. And so the conductor would like go faster or slower. And I was totally keeping up. And he was like, okay. He goes, yeah, it's a good, you know, it's a good, you know. And that was hard to get from, you know, maestro. So I was like, yeah. But I really, really had to hone my craft and prove that I was just as good as everybody else who had studied music their whole life. And I kind of came in, you know, pretty late, but yeah, I think that was pretty awesome. So that's it, you guys. So that was Tarot TMI. So you could probably maybe pull your cards ahead of time so that your videos aren't so long like mine, but I thought that this was really fun. Some of your questions may be a little personal, hence the name TMI. Some of them can be as funny, you know, or weird as you want, or embarrassing. So however you want to do it. So yeah, just all you need is a deck of cards. Look at the meaning of the card, and you don't even have to use like a Rider-Waite-Smith or, you know, a Rider-Waite, or, you know, you use whatever type of deck you want, and then just kind of feel what you think, how the meaning of the card would translate into a question, and then you just answer it for us. So, Hello Kitty thanks you, my stuffies thank you, and I thank you for joining me in my bedroom. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Have fun with your deck of cards, and if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to get yourself subscribed, and I'll see you spiritual ninjas later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.